this moment forth. Thou art arisen. Charge and all.
Dragon's Dogma 2 is one of the most unique open world games that I've ever played. You can face a dragon and a griffin over here, a sphinx down there, and a Medusa, which is really cool, while also dealing with the after effects of your pawn destroying an entire village thanks to a plague, while also having your super cute beast or mage pawn by your side. I mean, come on now, I made a cutie. This game truly is great, but it's not without its faults. Some very, very annoying faults, and mainly just one. But that's what I'm here to talk to you guys about today. Here in my Dragon's Dogma, that's not the word, here in my Dragon's Dogma 2 Ramble review. What is going on, ladies and gents? My name is Malcolm, also known as Baytuh, and today I'm here to bring you all another Ramble review. Basically a Ramble review, how I would describe it, is that I'm just taking a game that I either like, dislike, somewhere in between, and just ramble on about those things that I like and dislike more in depth. Like usually at the end of a walkthrough, what I usually do on this channel is I do like a TLDR review. With rambling reviews, I go more in depth while also rambling on. And I like these reviews don't have any type of structure or direction. I just like talking about the stuff I like and dislike. In this case, a lot of stuff that I really love in Dragon's Dogma 2, my game of the year for 2024. But I'll get right into that in a moment. But yeah, before we actually get started with this rambling review, you guys can please leave a like on this video if you guys like what you saw. Please subscribe for more content. It helps out this channel a lot. Also, when you do subscribe, make sure you hit that little notification bell next to the subscribe button so you don't miss out any content I post on this channel, and make sure you set those notifications to all as well. Please share my channel and my videos to all your friends, families, cats, and dogs, and whoever who not. And you guys can all follow me on Twitter at Baytuh, Baytuh. If you want to keep supporting me even further than just subscribing to my YouTube channel, leave it a like, share my channel and my videos to all your friends and families. Please consider donating some of your extra monies you have lying around to my Patreon, PayPal, YouTube Super Thanks, leaving a tip, or becoming a YouTube member of my channel. That is patreon.com/Baytuh, Baytuh, and or paypal.me/Baytuh, Baytuh, and or through YouTube Super Thanks. All you have to do is click on any one of my videos so are monetized, which is 99.9% of them, then hit that little money heart thanks button to donate however much you want. But regardless how you choose to support me further, any and all donations, everyone, is much appreciated. It is 100% completely optional. And with all that being said out of the way, without further ado, let's get into it with my rambling review of Dragon's Dogma 2. I'm trying to sound cool and whatnot. It's failing miserably. Like, I don't have like a deep enough like Dion Cole balls deep voice to like sound cool, but you know, I try. Alright, let's start with the cons that I have for this game. And I really actually should just say con, because it really is just one negative aspect in my playtime that I have with this game. I mean, yeah, it is a big negative aspect with the game. It really has to do with some, you know, a game design decision. And when you guys hear, you're gonna roll your eyes at me. I'm like, what can I say? It is what it is, and it's just how I feel, you know, no matter, even though this game is unique, like I said, it's one of the most unique open world games that I've ever played. It's in the same vein as Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. I never played Tears of the Kingdom. I played Breath of the Wild, but I did not like that game whatsoever. Or From Software's Elden Ring, which is, you know, how the interconnectivity of that game works and how everything gels together and works in that game as well. And it's the fast traveling system. It has nothing to do with the monetization, you know, controversy that surrounded the game, but I'll touch on that right now. I don't think there should be monetization in Dragon's Dogma 2. Shame on Capcom for putting that in their game. I mean, it's a single player $7 game. There's no reason whatsoever that there should be monetization in the game. Like, I know they did with Resident Evil 4 Remake. That game's a 10 out of 10 masterpiece in my personal opinion. Shouldn't be in that game. Shouldn't be in Street Fighter 6. Shouldn't be in Devil May Cry 5. Hell, I think even years ago, many of years ago, it was in Devil May Cry 4 as well. Like, it honestly shouldn't be in a full price, you know, premium $60, $70 single player game, like whatsoever, in my personal opinion. But yeah, it's the fast traveling system in the game. I wish it was more traditional. Like, after, you know, 20, 30 hours playing this game, and my playtime total was 80 hours of Dragon's Dogma 2. Again, it's still my game of the year for 2024. I think this game is bloody effing amazing. But after we hit that 20, 30 hour mark, you know, going from point to point, backtracking through many of areas like multiple times for quests, for monster hunts and, you know, it started to get very daunting on my brain. I'm like, okay, I wish there was more a traditional fast travel point, because there's a lot of the areas in this game do not have port crystals location. Now, if I'm not mistaken, there's only a few places, and I would say the first main area of Dragon's Dogma 2 that have their own dedicated port crystal, like Vernworth. Like Vernworth has their own dedicated port crystal. Hard Village have their own dedicated port crystal, but I think that's about it. Like Sacred Arbor, Land of the Elves, doesn't have their own dedicated port crystal. Ancient Battleground doesn't. Either the Sphinx's locations don't have their own. Checkpoint Rest Town doesn't. Melv doesn't, which is, you know, kind of odd. Nameless Village doesn't. If you want to travel south, like Batal / Back Batal doesn't. I mean, I scoured that place up and down. I ain't find any port crystal there. Dedicated port crystal, I should say. Volcano Island Camp doesn't have it, or Excavation Site, which is, you know, it's odd. But the thing is, a lot of these areas do have their own dedicated port crystal, but you can't access them until you shoot for the Unmoored World, which is the true ending in Dragon's Dogma 2. I didn't get there until, let's see, my total playtime in Dragon's Dogma 2 was 88 hours, I believe. I didn't go there until hour 80, and a perfect example of this is Sacred Arbor. Land of the Elves, they have their own dedicated port crystal, but the thing is, it's underwater. You can't get there until the Unmoored World, and again, I didn't get there until hour 80. Now, I know you do get a port crystal from the elves if you do if you complete a quest there. I didn't figure out where that elf was to start that quest chain until like hour 65 to 70. So I mean, I guess that's on me and not exploring well enough, but I was exploring a lot. I just didn't think of talking to the one random elf next to the armor in Vernworth. Like, fuck me, I guess, right? But but I understand the design decision behind something like this. Even though I do think this, you know, the port crystal, the system can work. You know, first of all, the fairy stones should be less expensive. 10,000 gold is pretty expensive in my personal opinion. And I think all, you know, main hub areas like the ones I just listed, you know, like Melv, Checkpoint Rest Town, the Shrines, Ancient Battleground, Batal should have their own dedicated port crystal. And I think that could work. I think, you know, having your own dedicated port crystals, or portable port crystals, I should say, that's a good way to like place those port crystals at like dedicated spots, like an in between like Back Batal and one of the in like a middle area that you don't necessarily want to go all the way to Back Batal. You just want to go into that, you know, an in between area, or the in between area between Back Batal and Volcano Island Camp, like that in between area. I think that, again, I feel like the system could totally work. And like I said, I think I understand the design decision behind it. Like, you want the players to explore, discoverability, to travel around this unique open world, and I get that. If I'm not mistaken, the producer or the director, they say something along the lines of travel is boring. That's not true. It's only an issue because your game is boring. Something like that, I think. And look, I understand that sentiment, and I understand the both sides of this argument, but in my personal opinion, and this is for me how I play games, so this is all me, no matter how unique and masterful your game is, backtracking through the same areas for like the 5th, 7th, 10th, 20th, uptime time will get old, you know, fairly quickly for me. It would lose that, you know, that luster, that special going through these areas for the first few times. Like, it would lose that uniqueness. Like, it wouldn't be special. Like with the same enemy placement, the same going through the same location. It's not going to be like a random event in Destiny where, you know, something, you know, random is going to happen. Like, there's not going to be any like once you see the first few random encounters, I'm like, okay, it loses that luster after a while. Like, a perfect example, me going, you know, like in the intro of this video, I said that, like, hey, like, you can come across a dragon and a griffin. Like, yeah, going towards Hard Village, I came across a dragon, you know, fighting a dragon, then a griffin randomly showed up. That's really cool. That happens a few times, but it's very few and far between, but it happens. And after you've seen it, you've seen it. You know what I mean? And a perfect example of this is my favorite game of all time is The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. That game is a 10 out of 10 masterpiece beyond levels. To me, that is the gold standard pinnacle of what this genre should be, what open world games should be. That, and alongside Baldur's Gate 3. I beat that game 8 or 9 times. I clocked in over 850 hours into The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt on OG Xbox One, PS5, and Series X. Like, that game is phenomenal beyond degree. But even as masterful and as unique The Witcher 3 is, after backtracking through a lot of areas in the game, even I get tired of doing it on foot Island, or even on Roach, like traveling through, you know, Novigrad to Valen to Octafar. You do that a bunch in that game. And after a while, I'm like, all right, let me just go and just fast travel to save some time, because at the end of the day, y'all, like the most important aspect when I'm playing these games, the most important thing is doing these things worth my time? Am I wasting my time? And backtracking and me getting bored out of my mind traveling through these areas and not having a fast or a quick way just to get where I want to get instantly, it's somewhat a waste of my time. So yeah, again, it may seem like I just straight up just dogged on this game and whatnot for 7 or so minutes in its con, but again, this game is bloody freaking phenomenal. It's my game of the year for 2024 thus far, and getting the negative and con out of the way will, you know, just make things a lot easier on myself. Like, it's the easiest thing to talk about because it's just one negative aspect I dislike about Dragon's Dogma 2. I mean, it's a core game design that I think is bad, but other than that, I think this game is pretty freaking phenomenal. And with that, let's start talking about the things that I did like about the game, and it's a lot. Like, from the gameplay, build diversity, how your pawn system works, the story, the world, I mean, the open world, the uniqueness of it. Yeah, like there's a lot of positives to talk about, a lot. Now onward to the many things that I did like about Dragon's Dogma 2. Let's start with the story and the characters. While Dragon's Dogma 2 tells a good, tried and true story about the hero being the chosen one to defeat the great evil and save the day from the Dragon True, there's a lot more going on behind the scenes, which is actually pretty interesting because freaking whatchamacallit, a lot of the other plots and the characters of the game really do not matter to the overarching plot of the story. Like, it really doesn't matter for your fight against the Dragon True. Like outside of, you know, the Queen Regent and the Sorcerer from Baytuh teaming up to install the Thief Puppet King dude in Vernworth, like that, other than that, everything else is very secondary to you defeating the Dragon True in Dragon's Dogma 2. Like, a perfect example is like all the missions in Sacred Arbor, the Land of the Elves, really don't matter. The missions in Back Baytuh, outside of you creating the Godsbane, really do not matter at all to the main plot. Like, main missions kind of stop when you reach Baytuh. It's actually fascinating because the game is really short. Like, if you just like mainline the game, it's about like 7 to 8 hours. Like, I honestly not gonna lie. Like, the thing that takes the longest time in Dragon's Dogma 2 is the traversing. Hell, you could probably even beat the game in a shorter amount of time than 7 or 8 hours, because it's like the main bunch of the missions in Dragon's Dogma 2 takes place in Vernworth. Then when you travel from Vernworth to Baytuh, so like Baytuh, you do like a mission or two there, which ties to you making a new Godsbane, which requires worm drag draconic crystals, which you can kind of find them in a cave, or you can beat dragons to do that, which, you know, there are some dragons in the area that are kind of relatively easy to beat. Then after you make a new Godsbane, you go past Volcano Island to the excavation site to Moonrise Tower. Think of Baldur's Gate 3. That game's a masterpiece. But you go to the Moon Tower, whatever, in the excavation site, then boom, you're basically done with the game. You either get the bad ending, face the Dragon True, or go to the Unmoored World. That's it. Even in the Unmoored World, it literally could take you about like 5 minutes to beat the true ending of that fucking game, or to beat the true ending of Dragon's Dogma 2. Like, it's just the Baytuh portal crystal thing you have to worry about. Then once you go to the not Sacred Arbor, to Hard Village, to the what is it? It's the underwater. I'm blanking on the name. Like, I should type this out, but I'm free balling it right now. It's the underwater castle that was there. There's like the red crystal portal that's beaming up in the sky. Once you interact with that one, you're basically done with the game. All you do is just move your joystick up, and that's literally it. Like, you can really beat the Unmoored World in under an hour. It took me 4 hours because I wanted to do everything. But yeah, it's honestly fascinating how little these subplots matter. Like, a perfect example, a subplot that can actually matter a lot to the main plot really doesn't matter, if that makes sense. I think I just got tongue-tied there. But going back to Baytuh, Empress Nindia's whole quest line is about thwarting an assassination scheme towards her life, but also her whole entire character is about changing the perspective of pawns in Baytuh tall, so they're no longer abused and scoured at, and they're actually very helpful. Like that could be very interesting, but it doesn't really matter. You could totally skip that. Now it may seem like I'm criticizing it, and to a degree I am, because it totally could have tied really well with the main story. But at least I'm happy that at least that it's in the game, period, because it adds more depth and world building and character and richness to the game. Just like the other side quests in this game, like helping out Lady Wilhelmina, bringing the noble that killed her family to justice, which that, you know, ended up being pretty interesting, because we find out that Lady Wilhelmina is half human and half beastren, hunting dragons with the Meister of the Mystic Spearhand and learning about his backstory and his past, and helping out this world guard dude kill a Dullahan so he doesn't get NTR'd, and of course solving the Sphinx's puzzles and mysteries. There's even apparently a side quest that deals with a nun in Vermont who's torturing people. It's some church person, I think it was a nun who's torturing people. Like a lot of the quests in this game, I mean, I read that in a YouTube comment, like I don't know if that's true or not, I don't know, but a lot of the side quests is pretty fun. I will say, you know, even though it seemed like I just got done harping on the main story not being good, which is not true. I think the main story of the game, while it is, you know, could be really light, it's really good. I honestly really did enjoy it, and the characters. I will say the thing that got me the most, that I love the most about the main story, is the Unmoored World, the true end of Dragon's Dogma 2. The first time I got there, I was legitimately pretty scared, because I was like, oh guys, did I fuck up or something? But no, like you learn so much about like the history behind Dragon's Dogma. I mean, I never played the first Dragon's Dogma game, and my only touchdown for Dragon's Dogma Dragon This World is the very, very, very terrible Netflix anime that is terrible. Do not watch it. It sucks. But you know, learning about the world of Dragon's Dogma, the history behind the Pathfinder, the Great Will, the Brine, like this whole cycle of repetition with the Arisen and the Dragon True that keeps going on and on again. But you know, our Arisen decide to break from that cycle and piss off the Great Will, and you know, the world is literally about to end until we decide to kill the Brine Great True Dragon thingy-majig. I don't know, it's all, you know, kind of confusing, but I really dig it. Like I'm a huge fan of shit like that, and I think Capcom did a fine, excellent job on that front. So yeah, the story, the characters, the side quests, and the stories that come from that, it's pretty good in my personal opinion. Alrighty y'all, let's move on to the gameplay, and honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I think this is probably gonna be the shortest segment in this Ramble review of mine. Not because I think the gameplay is bad or anything, that's far from the truth. I think the gameplay is the most amazingly best part of Dragon's Dogma 2. It's not that, it's mainly because I spent the overwhelming majority of my time playing as one vocation class, like 95% of the time, and that's the Mystic Spearhead. I think it's the best frontliner with the best offensive and defensive capabilities in the game. Like the defensive capabilities is I mean, it's freaking insane. I mean, don't get me wrong, I most certainly have seen the clips on Twitter and on YouTube of the magic archers one-shotting dragons and cyclopses and whatnot, and that's really badass and awesome. But I like in games like this, I like being that heavy, not necessarily heavy, but like that melee focused type character. I've always loved being that type of character, and Mystic Spearhead has that in spades, from its moveset, offensive capabilities, defensive capabilities, and some magic stuff, and it can tank as well. It's wild. I mean, I have played the other classes, but I think the Mystic Spearhead outshines them in spades, just personally. But yeah, that's just me. I kind of use the other classes vocations as support. Like how I ran my party composition was, I was the frontliner, Mystic Spearhead, and since the pawns can't be use those special vocations, my main pawn, Aurora, cutie beastren, she was my mage, and mages are stupid overpowered in this game as well, which they not only heal you, but cure you of any and all debilitation, which is awesome, and also imbue your weapon with elemental power, which is freaking awesome as well. But yeah, like Aurora, she was my my main support mage. I also put had her use other vocations to put some of those vocations augments on them. Like I think I had her play as a warrior for a little bit so she could get some more health augment, sorcerer for some magic stuff, mage stuff of course, and some fighter stuff as well, some fighter augments as well. I did that as well for as the Mystic Spear Hands as well. Like I played as, again, I did play as the other vocations mainly because of those augments like warrior, fighter, thief, and archer for those augments to, you know, definitely buff out my Mystic Spear Hand. But yeah, anyways, my main pawn, she was a mage, again overpowered as well. For my supporting pawns, I was switching between a warrior and a fighter for another frontline to help me out on the front lines, which was really handy. So I was switching between those two vocations for support pawns, and for another support, I would say ranger, I guess, not necessarily talk about an archer, but like a support, you know, ranger from afar. I was rocking a support sorcerer, and goodness gracious, we trounced the battlefield with that party composition. It was freaking fantastic. Me as the Mystic Spear Hand, my main pawn as the mage that heals us of debilitations and it buffs our weapons and whatnot. Our sorcerer, who's like our, you know, heavy hitter battle mage, was just freaking awesome. And another frontline that also tanks, not as much as me of course, but I'm glad they were by my side because they can actually tank some really powerful hits, which again kind of didn't matter to a degree, but when I was low on stamina and couldn't cast certain abilities, came in handy a lot. But also they could dish out a lot of damage as well as cripple enemies, bigger enemies, which was very handy to get those really good, I would say, those not necessarily killing blows, but like those fatal blow attacks. Really handy having another frontline like a warrior or a fighter on my side. To close out this gameplay segment of my rambling review, I just want to quickly touch on why I love Mystic Spear Hand so much and why I personally believe that it is the most overpowered melee focused vocation in the game. And that's mainly because of its vocation ability, Mirror Shield. I think it's Mirror Shield, right? Like there's like more added letters on it. There's like an E in the shield. Anyways, yes, Mirror Shield it's what sets it apart from the other vocations. Yes, Mystic Spear Hand's offensive stuff is really impressive. It's not as like strong as like Warrior, but that's like Warrior's whole bread and butter. I mean, they do have like their stun ability where you can, you know, stun enemies and you can instantly, you know, Goku style transport towards them, and they're smaller, you can fatally blow them. Bigger enemies, you can still transport towards them, but you can land some really good heavy blows. But its ultimate ability, Wild Fury, like that's what it's called, you can dish out a lot of damage. You could take down, you know, Cyclopses and Minotaurs pretty easily. Dragons you could take down a lot to majority of their health as well, which is pretty damn impressive as well. But going back to Mirror Shield, their defensive stuff, yes, it is stupid overpowered to the point that I honestly don't know. I can't believe Capcom even put something overpowered like this in their game. I mean, again, never played Dragon's Dogma 1 before. I don't know if there was an overpowered vocation ability in that game, but like, whew, man, I really hope they don't patch it because it's ridiculous. And mainly because it negates 100% of damage aside from like 3 attacks. And what I mean by that is like it like a perfect example is sleep debilitation. So that's an attack that Harpies, Succubuses, and Chimera can do towards you, which is not that big of a deal. Like if you have a mage with you, you can, you know, wake up from sleep in an instant. And if you play as Mystic Spear Hand, you can instantly take down those Harpies and Succubuses by using your stun ability, doing Goku transport yourself, teleport yourself next to them, get a fatal blow on them. You could possibly, depending how strong you are, instantly one-shot them, which is really cool. Plus, for Chimera, it's like a pool, like a small like puddle of water or whatever. When they do their sleep debilitation ability, you can really, you know, leave that area fairly easily. It's not that big of a deal. Another thing that Mirror Shield doesn't protect you against is Chimera's underground like seismic ability that erupts the earth below you and can attack you from below. That's one of the ability that your Mirror Shield can't protect you against. I think sorcerers have an ability like that as well, seismic attack or whatever it's called. And another thing that Mirror Shield doesn't protect you against fall damage. I think, let's see, 88 hours into this game total playtime. I think 80 of those hours I was playing as Mr. Spearhead, and I think most of the majority of damage I've gotten in the game was from fall damage. So there's that. But other than that, it negates, Mirror Shield negates all damage, all that damage. So like heavy attacks from enemies, light attacks from enemies, ultimate one-shot capabilities from big monsters. Like, you know, if you're fighting a dragon, the dragon was suddenly summon a meteor shower strike for you and your party, and it can one-shot you and your party. Mirror Shield negates all the damage, negates all of it. Those freaking in-game monsters from the Unmoored world, like those dragons and Chimera, whoo-wee nappy boy. Oh man, those things could, like, definitely the dragons, they do like a huge fucking AoE attack, y'all, that takes up the entire screen. Definitely the like the one with the unicorn with the wings dragon, the brine dragon, does like an AoE one shot ability towards you and your party. Mirror Shield can negate all of that, negates all of that. It's insane. It doesn't even take that much stamina to use either. It takes, I don't know, I'm not good at math, but it doesn't take that much stamina to use. And plus, if you add on other augments from different vocations on Mr. Spearhead, like, what is it, the augment to increase your stamina, it's from, I think it's from Thief, or no, I think it's from Archer, that augment. You can put a ring on that increases your stamina. There's another augment from, I think, Warfighter, was it Warfare, whatever, Wayfarer, where vocation abilities take less stamina. Freaking wild, insane. I love Mr. Spearhead so much. It's offensive capabilities, it's defensive stuff. It's insane. So yeah, ladies and gents, gameplay pretty wild in this game. I love it. Definitely when you have like a really great party comp with, you know, I would say the best party comp in Dragon's Dogma 2 personally is like having two frontliners and having two supporters, like, you know, two warriors, two fighters, two, you know, again, heavy hitters, and two like supporters. Always have a mage. I know a lot of people don't like having mages or healers in their party, but hey, they're honestly the most important role in the game. To close out this rambling review, let me quickly touch on some, I guess I should say, I was going to say, here's my closing rambles. Yeah, I should call my wrap-up segment, my wrap-up rambles. Wrap-up rambles, let me talk about the world and its uniqueness right quick, because I haven't really touched on it outside of the intro, where I said it's one of the most unique open worlds I've ever played. It's true, it really is. Like, again, I did say, I did like quickly compare it to like Fortune 3 and Baldur's Gate 3. It's not on that level of masterfulness, but it's better than the overwhelming majority of them, because the majority of them are kind of like the generic cookie cutter Ubisoft ones. Like, here's a big beacon tower right here, fog of war, a tower right there, an enemy encampment right there, another enemy encampment right here. Here's an enemy placement, here's a minigame, here's an activity, there's an activity right here. Like, hey, let's make the overwhelming majority of our big open world video game just mini games that's surrounded by a completely nonsense multiverse storyline that doesn't fucking matter. And the great thing about Dragon's Dogma 2, Capcom doesn't do none of that. Like, yes, other than it being a ginormous open world, but it's not like, it doesn't bog you down with like activity bullshit like the majority of open worlds do. Like, no, it's like, hey, a lot of the open world is you freaking play Monster Hunter, hunting down griffins, cyclopses, dragons, and whatnot, and doing some really cool side quests for NPCs that you meet across the land. That gives you some really good story modes, some story beats, memorable characters like Lady Wilhelmina and her whole ordeal, or even Ulrika, even though I never did Ulrika's side quest line because I took way too long. I was like, I'm like 75 hours to the game. All right, let me see if I'm going to do Ulrika's storyline. Nope, it's not popping. All right, towards the Unmoored world. Another thing I really enjoy about this game in its world, if like, you know, a lot of open world games, like the publishers and devs like spout how like, oh yeah, you have total freedom, do whatever you want from the get-go. No, like, this is like a From Software game. You have complete and total freedom to where you want to go. There are no like hold bars. You could go anywhere you want. It's going to be very dangerous if you decide to go to some higher level areas in the game where you're not at the right level, but you could totally freaking go towards them without any, I mean, not necessarily any issue, but like from the beginning game, you start up at Melv, I would say the intro area. You can make your way down to the excavation site without, you know, too many like, you know, too many obstacles other than you trudging trudging through some, dangerous places and, caverns and, maybe come across like some powerful enemies, but you can get there without any roadblocks. Like, that's pretty freaking cool. I really enjoyed that. Another thing I really enjoy about the world of Dragon's Dogma 2 is like the realism of how it feels. Like, a perfect example is nighttime. Like, when it's pitch black out nighttime, usually in video games, like, the night sky will light your way, but in Dragon's Dogma 2, no, it is pitch freaking dark. Like, you got your eyes closed and you cannot see any which or where. Even when you have your lantern like all the way filled up, it's still pretty stinking hard for you to see in front of you. And overcoming those challenges and the ghosts and the monsters and ghouls lurking at nighttime it's pretty freaking wonderful. Like, Capcom again really outdone themselves with this game. It's so freaking cool. I'm busy banging my knees right now. I'm like, oh, shouldn't do that. I tore my meniscus back in high school. I'm almost 30. My knees, but anyways, yeah, the uniqueness of this world is I really love it. I hope that we get more games along these lines when it comes to its open world, like Witcher 3, Baldur's Gate, Dragon's Dogma 2. Like, let's just not, I don't mind having some arbitrary cookie cutter stuff added on to it, but like, have that uniqueness, have some surprise, like, here's our Cyclops and a dragon and a griffin fighting or something like that. Have a Sphinx join the fray. Like, have those mysteries to solve, like the discoverability, the excitement of exploring every single cavern. I think there's like one cave I haven't explored yet in the game, and that's funny enough, it's in the first area, Melv, in like the back way. It's called like the Ancient Something Cave. It's not like a high cliff that I can't reach, even with my mages and sorcerers levitation ability. Can't reach it. I have no idea how the hell to get up there. I should probably YouTube that to see how people got up there. But yeah, it's pretty. God, I don't want to say that. I don't want to say wild, because I feel like I've been saying that a lot. Like, oh man, this is the most wildest game ever. I mean, it's pretty freaking great. I love it. it's like realistic Monster Hunter. I mean, don't even get me started on the Dragon's Plague thing, which I know I've seen a lot of people who have encountered that. I know a lot of people have messaged me on Twitter and on Xbox Live saying, man, I hired your pawn because she's so cute and powerful. Freaking whatchamacallit, but she attracted the Dragon's Plague, and the whole time Verworth was all dead. I'm like, well, I don't know what to tell you. I never encountered that. I think I encountered it once when I spoke to an MB a support pod in a rift, I think in Baytuh. I was like, oh yeah, Gold, I remember you. You're a sorcerer, right? Yeah, join the party. I miss you. Then on screen popped up like, oh yeah, this pod has like the Dragon's Plague. You gotta watch out. This is gonna happen. I'm like, fucking nope. Nope. No, thank you. God, just the twists and turns of this game is pretty great. I love it. That's why my issues with the fast traveling system, some traversal stuff, me getting stuck. I didn't even bring this up during my cons, but I got stuck with an autosave bug where I lost some of my progress, which is really annoying. I really wish this game had manual saves. But other than that, this game having really addictive gameplay with diverse builds and party composition. Mr. Spearhead, what up? Even Mage, freaking OP, amazing as well. A pretty good storyline, main plot, I would say, but it doesn't really shine, in my personal opinion, until you get to the Unborn world and see how all that shit unfolds, which is awesome. Having some really great side quests with some awesome NPCs and the storylines and the quest lines that come out of that. That's why, ladies and gents, Dragon's Dogma 2 is a phenomenal game, and so far my game of the year for 2024.
Just this once, I'll give you something special. I'll grant unto you the sweetest of dreams.
Well, that wraps up this rambling review, ladies and gents. Thank you for watching this, and thank you for joining me for this Dragon's Dogma 2 rambling review. This is my 4th time doing this. My first time was back all the way in 2020 when I did one for Marvel's Avengers, and you guys can probably think how that went. It was pretty negative on that. After that, my second one was actually last year with Final Fantasy 16. My third one was actually last year as well with Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. It was really negative on that game as well. But yeah, I'm trying to get into the groove of doing stuff like this. I like doing it, but I'm just used to doing my quick TLDR stuff after a walkthrough, and plus I really don't do stuff like this. I mainly do walkthroughs and let's plays and streams sometimes, whatnot, which I'm trying to get back into the groove of doing. But yeah, like, I don't know, I have issues doing it. I was talking to my little sister. I'm like, help me out. How can I talk white? How can I talk right? God, I can't tell you how many times people telling me, I'm like, wait, you black? How you sound white? I'm like, the fucking voice doesn't have a race, you idiots. But anyways, I think I'm talking fast. I don't know why. Like, I don't know. My little sister and my mom has talked to me about that. It's like, you're speaking quicker. How about you slow down and enunciate more, and you'll enunciate more or enunciate better. And like, yeah, like I definitely have caught myself in the past. I'm like, yeah, it feels like I am talking better. Like right now, it feels like I'm talking a lot faster, but when I'm slowing down and actually like not spelling out, but enunciating my words, what I'm saying, I'm like, yeah, like I can hear myself getting better. I mean, I feel a lot better and more confident than when I was back in 2020 doing these rambling reviews. But you know, as they say, practice makes perfect. So not necessarily aiming for perfect, but aiming for better. That's what I say. So yeah, just a quick note, Lacey, just before I let you guys go, what I'm doing next on this channel is, I mean, not next right after this, but I am planning on the docket another rambling review. It's going to be Rise of the Ronin, but this time around I'll get to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth later. That's probably going to take me a while because I got a lot of things to say, mostly negative, but a lot of things to say about that. But yeah, my next rambling review will be Rise of the Ronin. That will probably go live sometime, hopefully before the next wave of walkthroughs I'm going to be doing on the channel, so within the next week or so. But in terms of walkthroughs, what I usually do on this channel, we have the Final Fantasy 16 Rising Tide DLC coming out next week on the 18th. I'll be doing a full gameplay walkthrough of that. We got Tales of Kanzara Zao. I cannot wait for that game, one of my most anticipated games of 2024. I'll be doing a full gameplay walkthrough of that. Then on the 26th, I believe, of April, we have Stellar Blade. I did a walkthrough of the demo. It was really fun. Hopefully that game smashes and does pretty well, because I am excited to jump in it and play the full game of that. It seems it's going to be a fun time. And my birthday is April 30th. Don't forget, I want presents. All you can eat buffet at Taco Bell or something. They don't have that, but I just said that for no freaking reason. But yeah, we have a lot of content still coming out from the now to the end of 2024. Make sure you just subscribe, have that notification bell turned on, set those notifications to all so you don't miss out on anything I post to this channel. And yeah, I think that's about it. Like I said, ladies and gents, thank you for watching this rambling review, and thank you for joining me for this. Thank you all for the love and support on this video and on my other stuff I do on this channel and on my channel as a whole. Thank you, much appreciated. Before I let you guys all go, if you guys can please leave a like on this video if you guys like what you saw. Please subscribe for more content. It helps out this channel a lot. When you do subscribe, make sure you hit the little notification bell next to the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any content I post to this channel, and make sure you set those notifications to all as well. Please share my channel and my videos to all your friends, families, cats and dogs, and whoever who not. And you guys can all follow me on Twitter at Baytuh, Baytuh. If you want to keep supporting me even further than just subscribing to my YouTube channel, leaving a like, sharing my channel and my videos to all your friends and families, please consider donating some of your extra money so I lag around to my Patreon, PayPal, YouTube Super Thanks, leaving a tip, or becoming a YouTube member of my channel. That is patreon.com/Baytuh, Baytuh, and or paypal.me/Baytuh, Baytuh, and or the YouTube Super Thanks. All you have to do is click on any one of my videos that are monetized, which is 99.9% of them, then hit the little money heart thanks button to donate however much you want. But regardless of you choose to support me further, any and all donations, everyone is much appreciated, and it's 100% completely optional. And for my final time for this Dragon's Dogma 2 rambling review, my name is Malcolm, also known as Baytuh, and I will catch you guys all on my next walkthrough, rambling review, let's play, channel post update, live stream, or whatever else I do next on this channel, which is very, very, very soon. Peace. Thank you all for watching, and I love you all.